right now. Take a look at your life. Not the version you show people, not the version you wish existed, the real one, the patterns, the repeated struggles, the same thoughts looping in different forms. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. What if none of this is random? What if the life you're living right now is not something happening to you, but something being built, quietly, systematically, by your own mind? And here's the deeper question. If your mind built this version of reality, could it build something completely different? Part 1. The invisible blueprint theory is a hidden structure behind your life. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But it's there. And it's shaping everything. Every decision you make, every opportunity you take or avoid, every reaction, every hesitation, every risk. All of it follows a pattern. And that pattern comes from something most people never question. Your mental blueprint. You weren't born with it fully formed. It was built slowly through experiences, through repetition, through moments that felt small at the time, but weren't. A comment someone made years ago, a failure you never fully processed, a belief you accepted without realizing it. I'm not good at this. I always mess things up. People like me don't succeed. These aren't just thoughts, they're instructions, and over time, your brain listens. Part 2. Your brain is always building. Your brain is not passive. It doesn't just observe reality. It actively constructs it. Every time you think a thought, you reinforce a pathway. Every time you repeat that thought, that pathway gets stronger. Eventually, it becomes automatic. This is how habits form. This is how identities form. This is how entire lives take shape. Not through one big decision, but through thousands of small, repeated patterns. And here's what makes it powerful and dangerous. Your brain doesn't care if a thought is true. It only cares if it's repeated. So if you tell yourself something often enough, your brain treats it as reality, even if it started as doubt, even if it started as fear. Part 3. The architect you didn't know you were. Most people live their entire lives reacting to circumstances, reacting to emotions, reacting to what they believe is just the way things are. But they never realize something critical. They are not just experiencing reality, they are participating in its construction. Think of your mind like a construction site. Every thought is a brick, every belief is a structural beam, every repeated emotion is a reinforcement layer. And whether you realize it or not, you are building something every single day. The question is, are you building it consciously, or are you letting old patterns build it for you? Part 4. Why you keep living the same life. Have you ever noticed this? Different year, different goals, but somehow, the same outcomes. It feels like life is repeating itself, but it's not life repeating. It's your blueprint. If the internal structure doesn't change, the external results won't either. You can change your environment. You can change your routine. You can even change the people around you. But if the underlying mental architecture stays the same, you will recreate the same patterns, in different forms, over and over again. Part 5. The moment of awareness of a thing begins to change. The moment you see it. The moment you realize, this thought is not me. It's a pattern. That shift is powerful, because for the first time, you step outside the automatic process. You stop being just the result of your mind, and you begin observing it. And in that space, you gain something most people never access. Choice. Part 6. Breaking the old structure. You want to rebuild your reality. You don't start by adding something new. You start by noticing what already exists. Pay attention to your default thoughts, especially the ones that show up automatically. When something goes wrong, what do you think? When you face uncertainty, what do you assume? When you imagine the future, what do you expect? These are not random. They are patterns, and patterns can be changed, but not by force, only by awareness and repetition. Part 7. The resistance of the mind. Here's something important. Your mind doesn't like change, not because it's against you, but because it's designed for efficiency. Familiar patterns require less energy, even if they limit you. So when you try to think differently, your mind resists. It pulls you back to what feels known, to what feels normal. This is why change feels uncomfortable, not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. Part 8. rebuilding one thought at a timerial. Change doesn't happen instantly. It happens through consistency. You don't need to transform everything overnight. You just need to interrupt the pattern. When an old thought appears, pause. Notice it. And instead of following it automatically, introduce something new, a different perspective, a different response. At first, it feels unnatural, but over time, that new pathway becomes stronger. And eventually, it becomes your new default. Part 9. Visualization as a tool. Your brain responds to imagined experiences almost the same way it responds to real ones, which means what you repeatedly visualize begins to shape your internal state. And your internal state influences your actions, and your actions shape your reality. So instead of only reacting to what exists, you can begin designing what could exist, not as fantasy, but as mental rehearsal. Part 10. Small shifts. Massive impact. Most people underestimate small changes, but small changes repeated consistently become powerful over time. A slight shift in how you think, a small change in how you respond, a tiny difference in how you interpret situations. These don't seem like much in the moment, but over weeks, months, years, they completely alter the structure of your life. Part 11. You are not starting from zero. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to erase who you are. You just need to become aware of what is shaping you, because once you see the structure, you can change it. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Part 12. The new reality. At some point, something subtle begins to shift. Your reactions change. Your decisions feel different. Your perspective expands. And slowly, your external world begins to reflect that. Not because reality magically changed, but because your interaction with it did. Part 13. The final realization. You were never just living inside reality. You were participating in its construction, not fully controlling it, but constantly influencing it, through thought, through perception, through repetition. And once you understand that, everything changes. So the next time you look at your life, don't just ask, why is this happening to me? Ask something deeper. What am I building? Without realizing it. Because whether you're aware of it or not, you're always building something. And the moment you become conscious of that process, you stop being just a participant, and you become the architect.